us about winning. We're a winning program, and that's what we want to do. We want to win, no matter what it takes.
So our mindset is we need to get after them straight away.
We're aiming to be a championship team. We're aiming to be the very top. This isn't now about us participating. This is about us winning. Get used to winning, guys.
Myerscough 3, 1, 2, 3.
Myerscough! Yeah!
Welcome back in for episode 46 of SCO the Podcast, where we highlight the accomplishments and share the stories of the Myerscough Basketball Academy's student athletes, both past and present, as well as those who have helped build what the program has become thus far. However you are listening and however you found us, whether it's your first time tuning in or if you've been with us since the start, thank you for making us a small part of your day. I'm your host, Alan Gunn, and this week I'll be joined by one of the most individually decorated players in Myerscough basketball history, Tyrese Lacey. In his single season at the Academy, Ty racked up more than 5 individual accolades and was crowned Most Valuable Player at the 2024 HoopsFix All-Star Classic. He will talk about his time at high school in America, what brought him back to England, and how Myerscough has set himself up for success at Daytona State next season. Let's get over to Ty.
This is a battle. You have to be ready to battle for 40 minutes.
That's it.
Let's go.
That's it.
Let's go. Hey, let's go. Myerscough 3, 1, 2, 3.
I am pleased to be joined by the most recently crowned HoopsFix All-Star MVP, and I can run down all the list of accolades here. I got them. You're one of the most decorated, Myerscough athletes to come from the program, and to do it all in 1 year is obviously pretty impressive. EABL MVP, EABL All-Conference, D2 Young Player of the Year, D2 British Team of the Year, and D2 Team of the Year. For you, obviously it's a team sport first and foremost, but to, have built up a career in just such a short amount of time at Myerscough, what does that mean for you to, be recognized by not only, other coaches for your hard work, but, just to see that people notice your game?
For me, really, it doesn't hit me until other people tell me, because I'm just there, I just live in the moment and just get it done. All I want to do is just win, 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 win. Troy always get mad and be like, bro, you can chill for a bit, just relax. But I'm always in the gym, as I missed this call almost because I was in the gym. I'm always just working. So as soon as somebody tells me and I properly process it, that's when I'm like, oh, okay, I've actually done a lot. But it's just it's a grateful feeling, just to have people recognizing and acknowledging the work that I have put in. But at the end of the day, for me, the journey's just started now. I've got to go off to college and get prepared, maybe 4 years or pro, whatever comes after that. But the journey's just really started now for me. So that's what I'm really focused on.
Yeah, and let's kind of start with this back end of the journey here so far. I mean, just kind of walk me through, I'm watching the game the other day with Troy, and we were talking about how, okay, someone needs a 3. And then right after that, it's like, oh my God, you hit the 3. It all starts because Nedas just decides to throw it off the backboard. When he does that, I feel like most basketball players know the ball's got to hit the rim. So so for you, instantly when that happens, what's going through your mind? Obviously, it's it totally changes the game. You're as opposed to maybe being down 4, you're still just down 3.
So I'll be honest, I was really enjoying the game, and I was laughing and joking with Ludlow on the bench, so I didn't even see it happen. I was asking the coach, what just happened? Did he just miss? What? How have we got the ball? And he was explaining to me that he just ran across the line. I was like, oh, Ned, you're finished. There's no way you've done that. So we've gone into a huddle, and the play was meant for Joe Buchanan. It was supposed to be passing to the post. He takes one bounce baseline, and there was a flare screen for Joe to hit the corner. But he told me as we was walking on the wheel, he was like, bro, I don't think I'm going to be able to make that pass. So as soon as you pass it to me, please just relocate somewhere. So they've put Clemson on me. And I was like, bro, Clem, you're just too lanky, bro. Move out the way. What are you doing? So as soon as he's doubled, I just relocated. And I saw Messiah come out, fly at me. So I just had a little head fake, sidestep. And we've been working on that a lot this past couple of weeks with Neil. And I was like, it's just basically reps now. So just put it up. At first, I didn't think it was going in because I missed my last 2. And then when it went in, I had to hit the little Myerscough dance. Everybody knows this season. And then, it was just a good feeling. Just see the atmosphere in everybody's faces. So it was good. But I need to talk my stuff to Nedas when I see him.
And it's your second event for the HoopsFix All-Star Classic. For you to be have able to have played in two, most only get one opportunity to play in, an environment like that with, surrounded by, guys you'll play with, whether it's at the under 20 GB team, or guys you've played
Mhm.
with, with GB teams. What's it like to be able to bring everyone together within the basketball community to, put on one showcase event like that?
It's really wholesome, really, really wholesome, because there's guys that you'll see there that you haven't seen in years, and when they just pop up, you're like, yo, like I seen Michael Bell, and I haven't seen Michael Bell since I was like 12, 13. So when I seen him, I was like, yo, big bro, like there's no way I'm seeing you right now. So it was cool. It's good just to see everybody, and also just the support from everybody as well. Like Sam does an amazing job being able to set up the event. Even just the court had everybody's names for the past 10 years. Like the creativity that he has, it just brings everybody together, and it just shows that even though people say people in the UK can't play basketball, this, that, the other, we do have the second most like collegiate players in the world, other than the US. So it shows that we are like a big family, and we're tight knitted when it comes down to like the sport.
And you can really see British basketball trending in that direction where they're making impacts on teams. Obviously, you've seen the likes of Great Osibor,
Mm-hmm.
Spanish national, but someone who's come through the British program, the likes of Amari, and obviously, the list just goes on and on of British players that have, moved on to America and are really thriving. What's it like to be part of, that wave, and, that kind of rush of British talent that's coming out right now?
It's a good feeling, because there's been so many years. Like I remember playing Amari when I was like under 11s. He was under 11s, and I remember great when he was at Bradford. Same with Mate, like especially coming through the same program they came through as well, and getting to see how they live, the exposure, how Neil coaches, Troy coaches, Big Mike. Like it's a good feeling. And you've got Bradley that's at London Lions, so there's opportunities. So it's good to be one of the guys that have coming through, especially me from my own city. Not a lot of people do anything. Nobody really likes Brum at all. Like everybody says we have like a terrible accent, which I still disagree with. But like just for me, like coming from Birmingham, like it just makes me happy a bit, because at the end of the day, I know what's going on in the city, and just to be a good outlet, it's a joyful moment.
Yeah, and you mentioned it right there about coming from Birmingham, and who were the people or like early on in your basketball career that were really big influences on you, whether it's coaches. And we'll actually start there. Who are some of the coaches when you're in your as a junior, that you know obviously Myerscough is just one part of the process. So who are
Mm-hmm.
some of the coaches that really kind of steered you in a direction that okay, basketball could be something for me?
So I won't lie. I can't remember life without basketball. So it's always been there. Do you know what I mean? But as I got into like my early, I'd say like 10, 11, that's when I went to, well, I've always been at City of Birmingham Rockets. That's what they're called now. So you just see a wave of different coaches. You'll have Danny Williams there. You'll have Rob Palmer, Kirk Dawes. Who else used to be there? Tyrone was there. Um, you have Eman that's there, you have Panache, Jade, Amina. Like you have a wave of coaches that are there, right? And they all have the same love and enjoyment and competitive nature in the sport. So it was like good. Like a lot of people would always say, listen, just keep your head down, keep focused, and you'll go far with it. You'll go far with it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. I just play because I enjoy it. I'm finding it fun. Like, yeah, I really want to do something with it, but it was more enjoyment then. And then everybody was like, no, just keep your head down. Stay out of what's happening in Birmingham. Stay out of what's happening in Birmingham. Keep your head down. Keep your schoolwork. I just ran with it at the end of the day. And then I moved to clubs to Team Birmingham Elite with Steve Hansel, Nigel, and I had Stephen Moroso as my coach. And that was just a different type of style, hardcore, let's dog it out type of stuff. So I had the wave of both IQ as the younger, and then a lot of dog like basketball. So it was good. And then it progressed me for when I was ready to go to America.
Yeah, and kind of talk about the decision. Obviously, 16 is quite an age to make a big decision like that, to, leave somewhere you're probably comfortable. You spent your entire, junior career so far, but to move to, to Leighton Christian, what kind of goes through that? And because obviously that's at the time when, you potentially be going to like sixth form, or, picking an academy in England to, maybe apply your trade. What was it about America that, stood out to you in terms of, this might be the right decision at this time,
Hmm.
to move and try and build your career there?
So I've always wanted to go to America. Like I always had like little opportunities, but it never ever came through. So when I did get the opportunity, I sat down with my mum and we spoke, and we was like, listen, this might be the time where I need to go. So we weighed up the pros and cons, because at first it was either James Watt or Barking Academy that I was going to for my sixth form college years. And then I got the opportunity to go to America, and at that time it was COVID. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go. It will give me more exposure. This is what I've always wanted to do. I've dreamed about going to America, high school, different type of lifestyle. So I just got on the plane and went, really. And then the rest was history when I was there. It was a good time, really enjoyed it, met a lot of people I can now call family. So it was a really good experience. A lot of ups and downs out there, obviously being away from home, but I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah, and you get to, be under Coach Bobby Porter, who is built up a career for himself and a name. Obviously, he retired recently, but to be able to play for him and have that American experience earlier than most British
Mhm.
players have, what is that going to mean, for you long term? You think?
With me going back out there, it helped me understand the style a lot. Very up and down conditioning, hardcore. Let's use athleticism. Let's run. Whereas over here, we don't use that as much because that's not our strengths. Whereas as soon as you go over there, I, I, I could tell you about the stories. We was running in the snow. We ran up the mountains. We was any hill that was there. He was making us do the most on there. Like it was very hardcore. I was prepared for JUCO before making this decision because of how he ran the program. Like it was very, very hardcore. Even bear crawls up the hill and stuff. Like he made sure we remembered that we played for LCA every time we stepped on the floor or went to S&C. So it was good. It was a different experience, but it evolved me as an overall player and as a person. So I'm appreciative of my years that were there.
And have you had to experience the field sessions with Troy and Mike at all at Myerscough?
See, we haven't had that. Everybody's been on their best behavior, so we're okay right now.
That's good. I mean, nothing like having to wake up at 5 a.m. at the crack of dawn to go out to the football pitch. So
Yeah,
that's
we heard about them stories. I said, as soon as I heard them stories, I said, listen, guys, yeah, everybody just be on your best behavior. Ain't nobody trying to be up at 5 a.m.
So you come back to, obviously we can get into Leighton Christian, another accomplished part of your career.
Hmm.
What has been kind of the biggest difference? Obviously you've been able to experience both American style as well as the British style of play, and Myerscough is more so outside of the British style because they more fluidity,
Hmm.
less offense based and more kind of free flowing the European style. Um,
Hmm.
but what's it kind of like being able to play it in amongst all those styles, and what have you kind of learned about yourself as a point guard?
So I'd say coming from America, coming back, at first I played for Coach Alan Keane in the summer. He was very detailed. Everything was detailed. You had to hold space and hold in the corner. Like you got to know when to move. So that made me think the game a lot when I came back, like to another level. Like even in say like if they're in a zone, working in triangles, how to move off that. So he helped me a lot coming back here. So he helped me with a lot of thinking of the game a lot more. So when I did get to Myerscough and I was with Big Mike, me and Big Mike were talking, I was like, yo, I can't get Keen's stuff out of my head. Like, yo, like what, why are they not holding space and why are they not doing this? He was like, listen, this is how we play. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but why? And he's like, but it's just another adaptation that you've got to do. I was like, okay, cool. So it's more free flow. So in the offense, we'll come with a high ball screen. If we need to run a set, then we will. But high ball screen, let's read and move off it. So that was good. Like that helped me a lot because it learned different coverages, different reads, especially with the season that I had. I had different coverages. I had box and ones, triangles and twos, a 1-3-1, full court man, then 1-2-2s, 1-2-1s, or like anything you can think. We had everything thrown at us this year, so it helped me a lot with learning how to read different coverages. And then when we went to EYBL, that's when you understand like the team aspect of basketball because they play really intellectual IQ basketball, which I loved watching. Like the Slovakian teams and things like that, they were amazing to watch. I'd sit there the whole time, the whole day we was in the hotel. But Big Mike was like, "Are you gonna go anywhere?" Nah, I'm watching the game. Like this game, like I'm enjoying it. So it helped me a lot. Like become more of a point guard. Obviously, I've always been a point guard, but it just helped me progress, knowing when to attack, knowing when to settle for the threes, knowing when to slow down, and knowing when to go one-on-ones and things. It just learned me to play the game as a whole.
Yeah, and Mike is someone that you obviously got to work with before he came to Myerscough with the GB under 18s. How much of an influence was he, in getting you to Myerscough to realize that okay, that's the next step that I need to make to ensure that the next step after that is one, it's going to set me up for a good career in basketball.
So having the summer with him was really good. After what was it, GB? So we played a game and I got hit up by Hawaii Pacific at D2, and it was between me and somebody else that they were looking to give the offer to. I didn't end up getting it, unfortunately, but I'm not mad because then Big Mike sat me down and said, "Listen, we can help you." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I want to go back to stage." He's like, "Listen," he showed me what they can offer. We had a nice long conversation, and then I asked Alan Keane as well because he was the head coach. I was like, "What do you think about it?" And he advised me like, Myerscough is like a good place for you to go. I'd advise you more than anywhere else to go to Myerscough. And that's why I made the decision in the summer. And I have not looked back, and I'm happy I made the decision. I'm really grateful that I did not try and force a decision going pro or going to America. And I did my extra third year here, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, what are the things that Mike talked to you about that, the academy offers that you feel you have now, having come to the end of the journey at Myerscough, you feel you've taken advantage of and, kind of validated, what he told you?
So the access to the gym a lot. That was one thing, like especially the weight rooms as well, and even just the classes. Like they're only like 2-minute walks. Like you wouldn't have to like travel far if you go to different cities, things like that. And then you get 3 meals a day stuff. So you're not like just surviving here. Like you're actually living, you're enjoying it. And it's more probably gets you prepared for the collegiate level. Obviously, you have classes and things, but the system of how it's ran and the schedule is more compared to being ready for college, especially with the classwork and stuff. So that was the main focus. And you can even ask Neil, Mike, Troy, they would be like, "Okay, we can have a day off today." I'd still be in the gym. They're like, "Listen, bro, we just told you could have a day off." I was like, "Listen, I've got to work out." And they'd be like, "Go, get to your room." So it was just good having every access, but also like being able to be around guys with the same mindset as you, as well as like having to look out for the younger ones as well. So it made you mature more. So I really enjoyed that.
There's a plethora of, talent level at Myerscough. What's it been like for you to see, different styles, different levels of play, and kind of see other people, develop? You might have someone that comes in that's might be on like an AOC two team or something like that. But what's it like for you to be able to integrate and have them play with you and, like you say, be that sort of leader? Because everyone's looking at the first team guys, the guys that are playing out in the EYBL, the guys that are, leading the charge in D2 and EABL. So guys are looking at you. So what's it been like to be, that kind of a guy, within the program?
For me, I just take it. Well, like if they have any questions and stuff, I just tell them, "Bro, you can ask me." Like I'm not like they say, "Oh no," but like I'm bro. Like I'm here with you. We're going through the same thing. We're all going to Richmond's. We're all going to Equine. We're all going to Lifting. I'm one of you guys, bro. Don't be shy to ask me a question. So I just take a lot of the guys underneath my wing, like when they have any questions, if they have any problems, or like any sort of like discomfort. I just be like, "Bro, just hit me up. You've got my Snapchat, or you see me, just hit me up. Like I'm open to talk to you if you need." So even with Harry Sheehan is coming up next. That's my little younger here. So I make sure he's good. Obviously, when there's things going wrong and stuff, we sit down and talk. But at the same time, off court as well, I just tell him like you got to enjoy life as well. Like it's not just okay, all basketball. You have to have like a getaway, so then you enjoy basketball more.
What is your getaway?
Mine is just hanging with the guys. Like I just chilling with the mandem a lot. Like that's me. I vibe, music, and just go out. Like anything to get my mind off basketball, I'll do. Like I'll be real. I just love chilling with the guys, to be fair. It's just funny, especially at Myerscough, you've got nothing to do. You're literally on a farm in the middle of nowhere. I know so many people have said this on a podcast, but it's so real. Like, there's nothing here. You'll just be hearing, and you're like, what's that? It's a horse walking past. I'm like, bro, I'm from a city. We don't see that. Like, so it's good. Like, so just chilling with the guys, like, you end up having, like, long lifetime relationships because we've been a year here together and we don't see nothing other than each other. So it's just good having like a big family.
And you mentioned it. There's really no temptation. I mean, Preston's there. It's easy enough to get to like Preston, city center or town center, I guess, to at least have something to do. But Myerscough is a place that really kind of forces you to get better because it's right there. It's how important of that was that for you to be somewhere that has the facilities, has the access, because obviously you're someone that's dedicated to perfecting your craft. So for you to be able to have the access and the coaching staff that's willing to put in the time to let you into the gym, let you into the S&C, what's that say about the program? What's it been like for you to be there?
It helps a lot, especially because, like if you go to Barking, there's no shade going to Barking, but like it's a big city, do you know what I mean? There's distractions that could be there. If you go to James Watt, you're in Birmingham, that's a big city, you've got distractions. Same with Manchester. So it was like, I needed somewhere to get away from all of that so I could just focus on my craft for like a good year. So having the coaching staff here as well that are willing to put in the effort and time for you, like it just means a lot. Because at the end of the day, I could just text you and you'd be like, okay, let's go open the gym. Like when we had Stoyan here, I'd be like, Stoyan, let's get to work. It'd be 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I'd still be waiting at him at the door because he wanted to be late all the time, but he would still be there. Like you've got Lewis here. Lewis is a great coach. I really enjoy Lewis's workouts, Neil's, Troy's, Mike's morning workouts. Like all of the coaches are as dedicated as the players, but at the same time, they do let you know, like if you want to put the work in, you're going to have to put the work in, but we are here to help you along the journey.
And I think that's an important thing that you say. I mean, you got a plethora of different coaches. You have I mean, obviously Stoyan's fresh out of the academy, within the last couple of years. Mike's a professional or former professional. You got, James, Lewis is very, student of the game. He's coached at all different levels from juniors, right up through the under 18s, and with, England national teams. So to have the different kind of coaching styles, what are the coaching styles that, you really kind of thrive under?
For me, okay, there's no shade to Troy either, but if it wasn't Troy or Neil, I really wanted to play for Lewis. Like the way he coaches, I really enjoyed that. Like me and Big Mike would just sit there and I'm just like, listen, if Troy wasn't a coach, I would have played for Lewis. Like I like the way Lewis plays because he'll look at the mismatches and he'll attack them. Like he'll think the game more than just, okay, let's go and attack and the free flow like other academies and other coaching staffs. But I really just like being able to communicate with the coach. Like if I see something on the floor, I would just run to Troy and be like, Troy, do you see da-da-da? He'd be like, okay, go ahead. Like, at the end of the day, you're playing. Like, free flow, let's play. But then at the same time, if you see something, let me know and we'll get that done. So I just like being able to communicate with the coach and be able to just let everybody shine. Like, so then everybody gets spotted because at the end of the day, it's a team sport. So if everybody's shining them, there's no way anybody really can stop us at that point.
And you notice it as a point guard that you make teams and you make the teammates around you better. You've seen it with the great season that you had with Dan and the connection that you had. How important is it for you to be able to make those connections with your teammates to ensure that they're also having that success? Because it's like you say, it's a team sport, but you make players play better, I think. So to be a point guard and a real true point guard, what's that been like for you to kind of figure out what your role is as a point guard and to, jump on that and to really be, the best at that?
I feel like it gets lost, like with the new generation of basketball, that like point guard, are you going to be a scorer or something like that? Like, nah, like if you really watch point guards, like I watch Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Rajon Rondo, even JJ Barea, like I watch those type of old school point guards. Obviously my favorite player is Allen Iverson. But if you look at his career,
I'm the same.
At some point in his career, coach told him, like, you're going to have to pass the ball so it opens up for more for you. So when he played the Lakers, it was harder for them to stop him because he was able to start passing the ball and then he got more scores. So for me, I like watching other people shine. So watching Nwazu, what he did this year, it was great. Like watching how Lewis was able to evolve and Taylor, Like, it was a big thing being able to see that, because I know they did have a lot of weight on their shoulders with the other guys leaving last year. So I knew stepping into the role, like I told them the first day is, bro, I'm going to pass you the ball consistently. Just be ready to catch it. And Taylor's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, just be ready to catch it. It took them a while, but we got through it. So watching them guys shine helps me like become a better point guard, because that makes me feel better as an individual.
Yeah, and you mentioned it kind of already as, you know, point guard and being 5'8", and, you know, some of the guys that have influenced you and your game, you know, just who like players, obviously you mentioned Allen Iverson, but, you know, what's it kind of been like to see your game evolve into maybe taking some of what they did, you know, some of the great point guards of our age?
Mm-hmm. Just watching them, like the IQ of the game. Like, I really watch a lot of EuroLeague. Obviously, Troy would get mad at me because in anatomies and in his classes, he'd catch me on his like little website. He's like, "Oh, you logged into my EuroLeague?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm doing anatomy right now." He's like, "No, you're not. Stop lying." So I'd always watch all of his the EuroLeague game. I'd watch Madrid. There's another Brazilian point guard in the EuroLeague that I forgot, but he's small and he's from Brazil, and I love the way he plays as well, because he'll feed and then attack, like look for his shot after. Like, for me as a point guard, it's always, okay, make the right play, but if you can score as a second option, because you got to get everybody else going, because there's going to be scorers on the team. That's their role. That's what they need to do. So for me, if you can get that scorer going, then it opens more for you. If you can get the big dunking, then it makes them more worried about, oh, okay, you're going to pass it to him. Okay, then I'm going to fake this pass and go lay it up myself. So then it just makes the whole team work and like together. And it's just a flow that keeps going every possession, because you don't know who's going to catch it and get hot. So it just opens up the floor for everybody. And there's more plays that we're able to make at the end of the day.
You're a quote unquote undersized point guard. Gotta say it. And I'm not tall either. So if I was to play, I'd be undersized as well. You've seen, you know, undersized point guards come through the academy and be successful. Obviously, Konrad Kantorski is one that comes to mind. Stoyan, you know, someone that you've worked out with multiple times, is not the biggest guard. You know, Rayon Brown, Tyrell Brown, you know, the list is kind of endless in terms of the guards that have been successful despite their height deficiencies in a, you know, an ever growing tall man's game. You know, what's it kind of been like to be part of the, you know, that group of guys that come through the academy that might be undersized but still had the success? You know, is that something that, you know, stood out to you, having looked at the academies and saying like, okay, well, you know, they've had a bunch of point guards come through that are similar vein to me but have had success?
Yeah, 100%. Like, a lot of the times we would always watch film of the old EYBLs or like the old games of previous years. And it was always watching them pick up 94 feet. So I added that. I was like, yeah, I'm going to make sure I pick up 94 feet, because then you get more eyes on yourself as an individual, but also the momentum of the team is more hyped, because then it gets everybody's blood flowing. Like, okay, he's pushing. Now the rest of us have got to push on rotations and things. So it was good watching the previous guys. Stoyan, I known Stoyan from when I was like 12. I went to Bulgaria and he was my tour guide. So then when I came here and I saw him, I was like, no way, Stoy, you're here? Like, what are you talking about? And obviously my cousin came here as well, Kyra Smith. She was big in the system on the girls.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So I made sure to do my research and stuff before I did come here. And obviously she gave like all the praises for this academy. So I really enjoyed like the contacts and stuff that I've had, but also seeing the progression for over the years, that how everybody's come through the system.
And speak of the people that have come through the system, you're going to be one of those that will now, you know, get the chance to move on and go to America. Daytona State, obviously one of the top, you know, Division I JUCOs, you know, in the nation. You know, to be able to make a commitment like that off the back of, you know, years of hard work, you know, what's it mean to you to have been able to commit to you know, Daytona State?
It was really good. Like, I remember the start of the year, Coach Watkins randomly hit me up on Twitter and he was like, okay, like, what's your number? I'm like, gave him my number. He phoned me instantly and we had like a long conversation. And I was like, oh, okay, like, they really kind of want me, and the season hasn't really finished yet. But since then, he was on me like constantly every week, just checking up. I was like, okay, like, and then we ended up having the same coaches, Jamaican, I'm Jamaican. And then I found out the coach was Cuban. Everybody's got a Caribbean type of thing. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I could call this place home. I got on the phone with Coach Joey. good vibes. Like they told me the system. I was like, listen, if you're not really wanting to go at it, there's no point you being here. Like I dug it out. Like that's what I want to do. So it was really good with them recruiting on the recruiting side, but then after the recruiting side, like just them as a whole, like I've seen them push on so many guys this year. I think they had like 6 or 7 guys go Division 1 this year. So I'm really looking forward to go over there and play and make an impact.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, obviously you probably had a chance to go to a Division 1, Division 2. You're probably getting a bunch of different people reaching out to you in terms of, here's a potential, destination for me.
Mm-hmm.
What is it to you about the JUCO system that, you feel is going to be the right route for you in terms of your development?
So, I was getting a few interesting stuff towards the end of the year, and obviously I had D2s as well, but it was more of I didn't want to go somewhere where I wasn't wanted. Like I felt wanted at Daytona. That's where I was like, okay, I've got a good relationship with the coach. Like they feel like they want me, and I want them too. To be fair, like I was telling Troy the whole year, like I want to go Daytona State. Like that's where I feel like I'm gonna go. He's like, okay, but let's just see what's coming in. I'm like, nah, like I'm gonna end up going there. And he's like, okay, we'll just see because they haven't offered you yet. I said, listen, Troy, they're gonna offer me. They're gonna offer me. I just kept speaking it into existence. I was like, they're gonna offer me. They're gonna offer me. So then, obviously, I had other looks and stuff, but I felt that was the best fit for me to be able to progress with the next steps in my career, especially with the JUCO system now and all the politics of all the transfer portals and stuff. I feel like that would be the best environment for me to be in to show my talent and showcase what I can do. And it's in Florida and it's warm. It's way better than Utah.
And I guess the big thing, like you've experienced obviously the American system, and there's sometimes like a slight on the JUCO programs within America, just because they feel it's not a 4-year program. But obviously within Britain, a JUCO route, you've seen a bunch of guys from Myerscough, have success going through the JUCO program. Obviously, like Eduardo Delcadia, Zion, guys that have gone through the 2 years. I mean, Kiko had a Stavrev, another Bulgarian. To have the experience of being in America and their views on JUCOs, and having the been in Britain and being from Britain and having those views on JUCOs, what's it kind of like to see both sides of the of the tape, to be like on both sides of the spectrum?
So when I went over there at first, it was more like, hey, don't go JUCO. You're not going JUCO. Nobody's ever going JUCO. So then after the COVID and things like that, that's when it was more like, when the transfer portal hit, there was like, you know what, JUCO's not too bad. Like, it's not bad to have as a second option. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm not understanding anything that's going on, because obviously I'm still like 16, 17. I'm just trying to play in college. Like, what are you talking about? So then coming over back home and seeing how everybody views it. Obviously, Brian was there, Zeki was there, Ridley's been there, to McCook. I had Louis Tucker, long time friend. So just watching them this year, I didn't end up frowning upon it, because I understood like the system. Declan Con went to Sokahatchee. My friend from America as well went to Sokahatchee with him. So he's Isaac Cabero. He went over there underneath Coach Lynch. Coach Lynch was almost got me as well before I went to Daytona. He almost had me. But like just knowing both sides, and then understanding the system with like the politics that go into with the transfer portals and things, is not a bad option. Like at all. Like I don't know why people frown upon it. So a lot of the 5 stars or 4 stars, if they don't have the offers they want, they go to JUCO now. Like that is the pathway now for guys that aren't really seen. So I felt like that was just the best option for me, was to go to JUCO, because obviously there's still pro options and things like that, but that's not going anywhere. So I'd rather give myself the best opportunity possible to play at the level I want to before going on and progressing my career.
And obviously you're strong academically as well. So for you to be able to start progressing towards a degree and, have that foundation as well, how important, I'll ask it, how important are academics for you in terms of, being able to get that, degree at the end of it?
Yeah, no, it's an achievement. It is an achievement, because at the end of the day, I don't think a lot of people have gone to 3 different schools for their class as high school. Do you know what I mean? Like I did my GCSE diploma. I got my high school diploma, and they messed me over there as well. I had to do like 46 classes in 2 years, so it was hard. It was a struggle, and then coming back here and doing level 3 BTech as well. Like, it's just good to have the academics, because at the end of the day, everybody says the ball will stop bouncing. So just having that to fall back on will always be a good thing.
And, looking back on some of your career highlights, what are some of the things that stand out to you? Maybe give me your top 3 things that, you've accomplished so far.
Okay, so I'd go my third, because I didn't expect it, was the 17 assists in EYBL. That was like a big one. I didn't know until after the game, and Troy was like, you had 17 assists. I said, who had what? Like, what are you talking about? And I found out I broke my own record the day before. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a good achievement. I'm in a record books for EYBL. That's cool. Obviously, being able to come back home and playing at the All-Star and being able to get the MVP just shows like I can hold my own wherever I go, type of thing. But my number one would have to be winning state championship when I was over in America.
Explain that to listeners that might not understand the system. How difficult is it to, I've seen great teams not win states because it's kind of matchups and things like that. But how difficult is it to win states?
It is really difficult, especially when you're moving up different regions and stuff, because they do it on school size and things like that. So you've got a lot of kids that you'd think, okay, would go to these big schools, but because they live in these like small areas, they go to their normal high school. So you still have like Division 1 like talent in these small schools. So you're going at it a lot of the times with guys. Like, we even played Wasatch Academy, Utah Prospect, where AJ has just moved to. So like there's a lot of talent. So it's hard. Like, it's hard. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to get that title. Everybody wants to put their name and hold up that championship, cut the net down. So it was hard. It was really difficult. But I know with how our coach had us running, we was very conditioned to get ready and win that state. Obviously, unluckily, we didn't win the following year, but we still made it to the semifinals. So it was like the program over there as well was really it was really good for learning how to win, like be a winner, be a competitor, which I really enjoyed. But it is difficult out there to win a state. You got to go through a lot of rounds. You got to go through a lot of heartbreaks, ups and downs during that season. So it's really blood, sweat, and tears that you put into it to win that state championship. It's exactly like an EABL championship over here.
and talk about you've had so many different levels of play. You've had American high school, you've had the ABL, you've had D2 against men, and then you've obviously had against the Europeans and the EYBL. To have those different kind of flavors of experience, what's that been like, for you, and how will that benefit your game, long term?
100%. Like that was like a lot that me and Troy spoke about, because everybody was like, oh, okay, you're gonna be on the side, okay, I'm on the sides, that's fine. Like, let's play basketball. Let's just see how the basketball works out. So being able to know the American system for when I go back over there, that's gonna be good for me. Like, I know it's run up and down. Let's get ahead. Let's run. Like, let's get as many shots off. So I understand that. So then playing against men is bigger bodies. So I know how to use my body to get into the paint, or like how to create space for a three or a mid-range coming off pick and roll. So the physicality side, I know, helped me for going into college, because they're still grown men, like, at the end of the day. So that's getting me prepared for that. The EABL was more, okay, free flow basketball. Let's learn how to hit the corners, roll, high pick and roll. Let's see how many different coverages there are. And then where the FIBA International with EYBL and things like that, that's where you have the more IQ based of, okay, then, so if they're in a zone, how are we going to get through this zone? Or how are we going to hit a pick and roll or pistol? Let's run on side, or things like that. Just more actions and things, so it makes you think the game. So all of the aspects that I've had, I know will help me along when I hit Daytona.
Yeah, and obviously, we're excited to see you in the rest of your career. Myerscough, great decision. I mean, when you look back at it, would you do it again?
Yeah, 100%. I'll do it again. 100%. I've said this multiple times to everybody. Like, if you come to Myerscough, like, you won't regret it, because it's not just the on-court stuff that you'll enjoy, it will be the off court stuff. Like I watched one of the podcasts, and Mario was like, just hide and seek or man's like stuff like that, like in the dark. Like we all go through the same experiences because you get bored. It makes you become a kid off the court again because like we'll just be sitting there playing dominoes or Uno, and it gets like intense, like everybody's competing because we don't have nothing much to do, but you find things to do off the court. So I would not change it. I love my guys. You know, shout out to the SCO 2023, 2024. Like those are my guys for life, for real.
Obviously, HoopsFix All-Star MVP. You look at the names that you've joined with regards to Myerscough players to accomplish that. Gray Osibor, Mateo Kroos, Kyle Carey, Zion Tordoff, and now yourself. That starting five. That's going to beat a lot of teams. I think. What's it like to kind of be part of that kind of group?
It's good. Like I really feel like the acknowledgement that I've put in has like not paid off, but like it's given me something to be like happy and like a bit of pride about. Like, yeah, I did that. Like, do you know what I mean? So especially alongside Mate, because I've heard Mate from the time I was under 14s playing GB. Like he was giving us calls back with James Villa, and he was just giving us like a rundown of like, listen, enjoy the moment, but make sure you put that work in. And obviously seeing how great has come with crazy NIL things, like, you know what I mean? So being alongside names like those, like it just is something to be proud of.
And Kyle's someone that, when I mentioned,
100%.
he's had an unbelievable, obviously he came back and has been strong in the BBL. So obviously there's like different pathways that everyone's picking, what's it kind of been like to, when you were looking at Myerscough, and it's a place obviously you've probably heard of, beforehand, what's it kind of like seeing the tree of Myerscough, be in different places, whether in the game, out of the game? Stoyan's come back and, been an individual coach, a skills coach. So, what's it kind of like to have, now be, part of this family?
Yeah, it's wholesome because even when we go to like HoopsFix, you had Ridley there, you had Brian there, like, and the year before, Gray was there. Who else was there? There was a lot more Myerscough alumni that was there, and obviously just seeing it, you just know you're a part of that family now. So, like, you won't really be able to get rid of saying that you came to Myerscough because you all went through that same like process. You went through the same system. You understand how it is to eat the Richmond's food. You understand how it is to go live in Calder. Like you understand, like, so we all have those links. And it just creates like a big family. Like even if you don't know them, you just know, okay, you went Myerscough, okay, that's my guy. I'm gonna look out for him. Like, do you know what I mean? So just knowing that Myerscough has a big family and it's a big connection, and there's a lot of connections in different fields. Like you just feel like, okay, there's something in life that you'll be able to have some sort of success because you'll have a connection somewhere just being a part of the branch of Myerscough Academy.
And you probably noticed it when you went out to, whether it's, some of the EYBL games. I don't know if you went to HMBT, but like you've probably noticed it. Like when you go out there, it's like, okay, Myerscough's turned up, and to be a part of that, and building the academy and lifting the profile of the academy, you're obviously going to be one of those names that will stick with the accomplishments that you've had. For you to go out and have seen Myerscough before and now, and then you've been a part of the team when you travel. What's it kind of been like to see the reach of Myerscough now that you have been a part of it?
So obviously I played for Birmingham Elite, and I remember one time there was like, oh, we got Myerscough. I'm like, we got Myerscough today. So I know on the back end, like when you hear you got Myerscough, that's a date you got to circle and plan for. Like, that they're not coming to play. And that was when they had, you had like 3 7-footers just touching everybody's hands. Like, I'm like, what is going on? There's no way. I was ill that game, so I didn't get to play, but that was what we call now like the Monster team. Like that was a team that was feared. So obviously when we go to EYBL as well, and everybody sees you come in the Myerscough gear, everybody's turning their heads like, oh, that's Myerscough. Like, so just being a part of that as well, you feel proud. Like you feel like you walk with your chest high. Like, okay, like I've got to represent because they've got a name and we've got to withhold this name.
And just to finish off, just kind of give a shout out to some of the people that, again, you've done it already, but just give a shout out to some of the people that, have been super influential to get you to this point.
Okay, I gotta shout out my mom. I gotta shout out my boy Edson, Pharrell, Coney, my brothers and sisters as well. But Neil, the whole Myerscough family, everybody, even the alumni, I know you guys have hit me up on Instagram. I'm getting through those messages. So I'm really happy. Stephen Moroso as well, Danny Williams, everybody in the Birmingham 0121 community. I do this for everybody there. I know there's a long journey to still go, but I'm making sure Birmingham's still repped and the name's being withheld.
Ty, it's been a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing where this goes.
Appreciate it, man. It was good speaking to you.
This is a battle. You have to be ready to battle.
Let's go,
40
man.
minutes.
That's it. Let's go. That's it. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Myerscough 3, 1, 2, 3.
That's it for episode 46. It was a pleasure to catch up with Ty to learn more about his journey and where all his hard work will hopefully take him next. As always, you can follow Myerscough Basketball on Twitter at @my_bball, on Instagram at Myerscough_basketball, and you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Myerscough College Basketball. You can find all the latest news, features, and more information about the Academy over on our website, which is www.myerscoughbasketball.co.uk. Like what you've heard today? Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Check out all the previous episodes. Your support is greatly appreciated. Feel free to get in touch with the show across any of our social media platforms or through the Academy's website. Until next time, have a great day.